Welcome to Trollspilot's living room again. We are back here, hopefully for the last time for a while, because we want to go outside now in the spring weather. Perhaps not today. It's been snowing a bit. So, but today we have a nice treat for you. We have a long video of me sitting quite still.
Yeah.
In difficult circumstances, you might
Yes.
call it. And what we are trying to show today is that straightness comes from the hind legs. And you can unpack the horse as much as you like, as long as you do not start the engine behind. There will be no straightness, because it is the hind legs that makes it. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So shall we jump into the training scale right away, or shall we talk more?
Talk more.
Talk more. Come on, talk.
Come on, talk. Is this
Yeah.
music
Let's. Yeah. Well, let's. Eva, can we see the training scale on the screen as well? Yeah.
All right.
Because we have been talking about this training scale all the time when have been doing this this stream.
I dream about this stuff.
And we're talking about rhythm, looseness, and contact and impulsion. We did impulsion the last time.
Yeah.
And today we're going to talk about straightness. And the whole thing about the straightness is here. Pelle told us that it's about the hind legs, and the hind legs should push off in the same way. But we need to do it with the other stuff intact.
Yeah.
And when we're talking about looseness is not like sloppy.
No.
Loose is loose.
Yeah.
But so looseness is a sort of the wrong word. It's when in German, when it comes to what you want to have through the whole thingy, the whole scale, is what they call Durchlässigkeit. And that is the ability to let the energy through the horse without any restrictions or tension that is sort of stopping the energy from the hind legs forwards
So
to
yeah.
lift the front.
So what it means then, looseness, is that the coordination between muscles and inside muscles is really good.
Mhm.
That's what it actually means. So if the muscle on one side of a joint is supposed to do work, for instance, if I want to bend my arm, this muscle should do that job.
Mhm.
But
Even I can do that.
if I tense the other muscle really hard,
Mhm.
then it becomes really inefficient.
Yeah.
So I work against myself. That's bad coordination.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, when you come to the complex joints, like the shoulder or the hip, or even worse, all the way through the back, then it's much more complex to have good coordination. And looseness is a way to describe that the coordination is now good.
Yeah. So let's take that example with if this one was really short here in me, so I couldn't actually. It was not possible to stretch it.
So
even
like
if this one,
this one actually can't stretch.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And so you can't, even though you're really strong here in the back.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah,
Can't
no.
do. The other one will actually straighten,
Yeah,
but
because
this
it's
one
blocked
will
here.
not, because of the shortness in the musculature here.
So now I think perhaps it would be interesting to look at the still photos that we've got of Dalton.
Right? Yep.
Can we see the one the before picture of Dalton? Yeah, no, that is the after one. He looks like there. We have seen Dalton now for many streams. He's got his problems, and here we can see how he was. He is very tense. Is in his underneck. The muscles on the underside of his neck is really short and tense, and you can see on his face that he's sort of
He looks tense in the face.
He
as
doesn't
well.
look happy.
No.
You know, no, he's It tense in the face. His nose is like, and muscles on his on his side of his head is really tense, and his eyes are also tense.
Mhm.
And if we can have a look at the other one, the one with the long neck,
Is that the first one? Or
the first
Yeah.
one, the one we saw last, this one, it's the same horse, and it's after that he has become a little more loose.
Mhm.
And you see that his neck is like, he looks 10 centimeters longer in his neck, and he doesn't look that powerful. No, he doesn't look. He looks thinner, strange.
Yeah, in this particular image, yes.
Yeah,
Also, his fur looks, of course,
yeah. This is in the
a
spring.
complete
so,
mess
yeah.
in the spring.
Yeah.
And the other one
He's
is
shedding
in the summer
his
sometime.
coat. Yeah. So, but what you see here is that the outline of the neck is more correct.
Mhm.
He's the curve on the top line
Mhm.
is like this, and his face is more relaxed.
Absolutely.
And that way we know the horse, so that we know that now he's really relaxed. He's not so afraid. He's not spooking him. He can stand still without being a problem. Before he was not like that. He was easily spooked, and he was really. He has this trouble that he wants to run.
Wants to run away from whatever it is
all
that
the
ails
time.
him, really.
So if we can see the other one again,
Yeah.
here you can see that the top line is more straight. Is more.
Yeah,
more like this.
there's no curve to the neck
Mm-hmm.
on top. The underneck is much more prominent.
Mm.
It looks tighter up in the here.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
I don't know. The first.
Yeah,
First
between his jawline and
Yeah.
his neck, it
Mm.
looks tight.
And he had big muscle knots all the way down his neck.
Yep.
So that was where he was mainly stiff, and that was sort of the blockages that we had to. Of course, he has had treatment, but his way of moving, like his movement pattern, meant that he always went into the same problems because that was his habit.
Hmm.
So that is why we've been working with the rhythm, with the looseness. You want him to relax. We want him to take the contact. He's done that, and we want him to start looking at impulsion. In the last, I think it was the last stream that we saw him trotting on the road.
Yeah.
And he was sort of lifting, so you could see that in the suspension phase of the gate, he was like this over the ground.
Yeah.
So he's able to kick off with his hind legs, and so impulsion is there. But now we are going to look at impulsion and straightness and collection at the same time.
Yeah, somewhat.
And the reason why we're using this horse that this horse has a lot of problems is that it's not very educational to watch a horse that can do it already. So I took this video when you Pelle was trying to show the horse how to bend his left hind leg and push off with his right hind leg, and he thinks that the horse thinks that is difficult, it's impossible. We know that he can do it, but he will protest. And I am too weak in my body. I'm too wobbly, so I can't sit there and sit still and wait until he manages to do it.
He will move in such a way that your body your body will perpetuate his problem.
Yes.
And it's to be the only reason to be strong in riding, except if you're a stupid jouster like I am, is to be able to not be moved into a position that will perpetuate the horse's problem. Say the horse moves in a way that makes its back really sway. That will almost always make the rider tilt his or her pelvis forward.
Because you fall down in this
valley
of
into
despair.
that movement. And if you're not really, really strong or really, really balanced, of course, there are different things you can do. For me, strength happens to be the thing I'm good at.
Because your torso and your
it's so
pelvis is
stable, so it just stays in the position.
So you can sit on your seat bones and just sit still and let the horse
do his thing. Find out what he needs to do.
Because he needs
so
to.
The straightness needs two things. Impulsion is to push off, right? Push off with balance, you might say. But for straightness to be present, you need the same amount of push off and the same amount of carriage in both hind legs. And then, of course, immediately it's like collection. Is that collection? But it's not only or really or
no.
It's really difficult to separate all these top three from each other: impulsion, straightness, and collection. But we'll do our best to show you guys. So this is me riding in the wet, slightly icy sand on Dalton.
Yep, here you go.
And I am going to do my darndest to try and have him active and still try to not let him run away. And I want to also not pull at him. And it is so difficult for him to answer all those calls at the same time.
But then you sit there and you're asking him to move his hind legs correctly. And he's trying, but then he wants to run.
Yep.
And then you're doing the half holds.
Yeah. So what I'm actually doing is I'm just keeping my upper body as sort of collected as I can. So keep it straight. And that is what asks him for the energy.
Yeah.
So if I just get him to move and then sit still, he will create the energy needed himself.
Yeah.
As you see, there is no spur. I'm carrying a stick, but I don't know if I'm using it at all for this.
Yeah, you don't need that with him.
No, and I have no spur. So
now you're showing that how difficult this horse. He, for instance, changing the canter. He will panic.
He will panic.
Yeah. He used to be a show jumper, and he can't do a flying change. And that is because he tenses up. So now Pelle is sitting there and trying to show the horse how to put all these things from the training scale together.
You can see that I do have halts all the time. I hold a little bit because there is plenty of energy. So I don't have to ask him for more energy at the moment. That'll be just make the problem worse. So I'm holding him slightly, and then he freaks out sometimes. I try to let go so when he doesn't run. And now he's blowing his nose and trying all sorts of stuff. But this is sort of, I'm not asking for the piaffe in particular, but I also know that if he manages something that looks a little bit like a piaffe, it will help the diagonality of his back more than the canter will. Yeah. So if he wants to do it like that, that's all right. If he wants to canter, that's all right too. If he wants to move around and look strange and take his left hind leg and lift it straight up and put it straight down,
as he does,
look a little bit like a weird bird, that's fine too.
Because he needs to be allowed to struggle.
Yep.
Or else he won't find out how to do it. And you're sitting there just like a force of nature and trying to sit still.
I am a force of nature.
Yeah. But you're very good at sitting still.
That is true. I'm good at sitting still. Except, of course, in every other circumstance than riding.
That's true. And what
There we go,
when
with the
he's
left hind leg being its funky self. And he shakes his head, and you can see that I try to give him his rein. So normally he's got a loose rein or just a little bit of contact.
Yeah. And because you're sitting still.
And then he says, I'm going to turn around now. And I appreciate his creativeness, but that's not what we're going to do, actually. So you see that even if he bends that left hind, it always sort of lands too far to the back. So that means he doesn't. Now that's better. Try to sit down a little bit and move forward then. But he still doesn't want to bring that left hind under with bend in it. And I'm sitting there and waiting. And we're going to turn around again.
Yeah, because that is easier because...
It's easier. If I ride the other way, he will turn around there too.
Yeah.
So, but that horses always do that. This is really hard. I'm going to turn around now.
Because
it's really hard the other way too.
Yeah, because they need to use more power when they are pushing off in the same way with both hind legs.
Yeah.
And also he needs to relax through the parts that has been really stiff. Yeah. And he's not used to that.
A very interesting thing that I often think about. This might be kind of far-fetched, but it's, for me, it's always interesting. I always think about, if you take the hind legs of the horse and put them out, spread them out like this way, and then you imagine that the horse is like a rocking chair on the hind legs, they will always have one side that they prefer to have rocking.
Yep. So
they rock this way or this way. That's what they prefer to do. So, and that's why, like you said, they need more, they need to expend more energy when moving in the correct way. You can see now that there's slight bend in all joints in the hind legs while he's moving. He's struggling, but he's managing. You can also see that when he moves better, you can see my legs come in a better position.
So
it's not because I'm not. It's not for want of trying.
No.
I promise. I did try. Even
and that is
wasn't
also the thing
right.
that about coming to the contact.
Yep.
The horse is actually coming to your legs.
Yes. So remember this, coming to the contact doesn't only mean the hand. No. It means the seat and it means the leg. The horse comes to the contact. And now he thought, I'll solve this with my humongous hamstrings.
Because he's very strong in his hamstrings.
Very strong. He's got very a really strong. Rounded butt. He's strong like
because
that.
It's not the strength in this horse that is the problem.
No.
He's really strong.
Yeah,
strong.
Even doing this for, 5-6 minutes, this short with a fair bit of bend in both hind legs almost all the time, it doesn't tire him at all. But he freaks out all the time, and then all of a sudden he relaxes.
Yeah.
When he does, you'll see later, hopefully. And then it isn't hard anymore to move correctly either.
And then
he's really trying now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is trying. And you are also trying because you're very good at doing the half halts and then give afterwards. Because
it's so hard.
Yeah. Because when you're giving and he actually lifts his withers and not run. He doesn't run now. For 2 or 3 strides, he does not run. And then you have to do the half halt again. And then you have to give.
Yeah. And you have to keep at it until the horse finds his balance. Yeah. You can see my legs are still straight forward. That means he's not there yet.
No. Because if you
it's hateable to watch yourself like this, by the way, so don't do it at all. There we go.
There you go.
He managed.
Nice. This is very nice. And then
it ended.
And then you can see the terrible stuff again. Yeah.
Well, let's watch 7 minutes of horrible to watch 2 seconds of good. It's the life of a rider, isn't it?
But, you said something once. And you said, if you're going to learn to ride, to drive a car through this...
On a racetrack.
Fast, you can't practice doing it slowly.
Yeah, no. You have to learn, of course. Learn the track, of course.
Yeah.
You do that slowly. That's it. That's smart. Don't kill yourself on the first turn. That's paramount. So the first thing you do isn't to just sit on the horse and then boot him. Don't do that. But I did that. But I was told to. by you actually.
To
but-
ride slowly.
No, to boot the horse once I got up. Not quite. First time I rode, I fell off because you told me how to do the canter, and I said okay. But anyway, so you have to learn the track. But as soon as you know the track and know your car, you have to start trying to drive faster. And the same thing goes for horses. Like this. Oh my god.
Yeah, but you know,
Oh, come on, Dalton.
The problem with Dalton is that I can do this really slowly without energy. It's no problem. But as soon as you try to do it with energy from the hind legs, he will freak out because he hasn't done it before.
Yep.
And he thinks that is going to be terrible and it's going to be pain and everything.
And no wonder either, because we have noted several times, 3 or 4 times, we have experienced people that we have taught to do a proper squat for the first time in their lives have fainted.
Yes.
That was a bit of a surprise the first time, I have to say. And Dalton is struggling. He's sitting down. He's trying to move forward.
And he's trying
now he found a little bit of balance and tried to come up a little bit in the withers. Now he's actually managing just slightly. And I try to give as much as I can. I can't give him the whole rein. That will defeat the purpose.
Yeah. But then if you give as much as you do now, he has the room to lift his withers.
Yes.
With the energy. And then he can taste that. And horses think that is really fun. But he also has we allow him to express his frustration.
That left hind looks like it's not part of the same.
He looks
animal.
like a pirate, you know, that classical pirate with a wooden flag.
Yeah, it bends just about as well.
Yeah.
As well.
And he wants to. He really wants that hind leg to be stiff.
Yep.
And now he's like,
no,
I don't.
No,
want to.
Uncle Pelle, we don't have to bend this. I can bend the other one. This one can kick off.
But then this...
You see, I have to blow my nose out and everything when you do that.
But this shaking of the head means that he's trying to loosen what is stiff.
He's actually managing. You can,
he does.
If you watch closely, he looks better for each little snort.
Yeah. That is snort again.
And we can turn around now, Dad.
No. But it's important to understand that you must not sit there and pull at the horse or kick him or anything. You must just try to sit still.
Yeah, and as you see, it's not easy to sit still on this.
No.
It is the movements are not predictable in any particular way. Oh, he's gonna move forward. No, sideways. He's gonna move backwards actually. And now he's gonna lift. No, drop his back. You're continually surprised. It's really difficult. But of course, if your upper body is a tree trunk, then it helps at least. It does.
Yeah, it does. Because my body is wobbling every time he does this with his with the hind legs. Does this?
Yeah.
I'm like.
Yep. And then you're
you're
not asking anything anymore.
No.
Oh. In some of these strides, you can see that he's trying to push up and forward. Now I'm trying to lighten my seat so he can use that, because he's bending a bit too much in the hindquarters right now.
Yeah.
But he's not lifting his lower back enough. So I'm trying sometimes to sort of lean forward and out of the seat to help aid him in lifting his butt. His back. The other way of doing that would be to bend my knees more. But that would ask for more hind leg,
which is he freaks out.
That's too much.
Yeah.
So even though it looks a bit like all over the place, there is method to this madness, and I'm trying to help him to the best of my abilities all the time.
So now you can see that the energy goes through the body where it's supposed to go, and the horse really, when it feels this thing, they think it's really cool. So often you don't need to praise him, because you can feel that the horse is like, wow, I can do this.
You're going to praise him anyway, because you can't help yourself.
No, that's true.
But he also feels it himself.
Yeah, and the horse then feels also that
Yeah.
you are happy and that is you're happy together.
You
That's a good thing.
You can also see that when you have the horse this collected, you can get even these typical warm blood races to do something very akin to the terre-à-terre.
Yeah.
That would be possible now, but that's not what I'm trying to do, because it's so easy to lose the back in the terre-à-terre.
And you see
it's
that he's
so
really,
demanding.
Now he's
So-
really losing his back, so like
Yep.
that's a good demonstration of.
Yeah. So you can
exactly
I can
that.
sit him down even more. That would be easy for me, really, because
Yeah.
that's what I'm good at. But it would make him very, very tense. So we're not trying to do that, right? So trying to move him forward through my hips, which is extremely difficult because that saddle does not move the way I want it to. He says, "Can't we just drop the back?" No, we can't. Yes, we can. So that's our argument. I'm saying, yes, I think this is smart. And he says, no, I've never done that before. Which is another thing that goes out to all you students out there. Whenever I ask you to do a thing and you say, oh, but that's so unnatural. Yeah. That means you haven't done it before, which is why you paid me to come.
Mm-hmm. And that's so slow. You have to go this slow for him to.
If you want both carriage and push off,
Yes.
you have to.
Yeah. And now you can let him a little forwards,
Mm-hmm.
because now you had sort of a control of the hind legs.
Yes. So I have tried to let him forwards like this, I don't know how many times during this 7 minutes, but he doesn't go forwards.
No, he runs. He wants to do this.
Either he takes his nose up or he just drops the rein.
So, what's important here is that this is difficult. This is very difficult.
Yep.
It's advanced stuff. So many people like to train a little piaffe and collection with their horses, and of course that is not a problem, because that could be a good coordination exercise.
Yeah, strength, coordination, flexibility. There's lots of good stuff in that.
Yeah, but if you're going to like go up in the training scale and do the impulsion, straightness, and collection, then you need the energy as well.
Yeah.
And that is difficult, and then that is not something for the beginners, because then you will sit there and pull at the reins and wobble and bounce, and the horse will become more stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because this video is about taking away the stress in a horse that is really tense.
Yep. And still allowing for the energy.
Still
so
allow them the energy.
we're not taking away the energy.
No.
We're taking away the stress. As
Yeah.
you see, I didn't at any point ask for more energy, but I did at no point ask for less energy either. So I'm just allowing him to keep trying with the energy level he is prepared to use. And then he has to change his conformation until he can find a way to move with all that energy. That's what we're trying to show here.
So what you're actually doing through the whole video is that you're sitting on the hind legs and just quietly asking them to bend in the same way and kick off in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
And that is why he's like, this is difficult. And then you wait, and then you say, no, you must not run. And then you give. And then the horse tries, and then he's not able to do it, and then you do it again. But all the time you're sitting on the hind legs.
Yep.
Should we see it once again and just study the hind legs? Yeah.
Sure.
Let's do that.
I'm good. And here we go again. So we start on the right rein. And on this rein, you can see that whenever that right hind touches down, it keeps bending for just a split second. So this hind leg doesn't push off, which means
it's just soften.
Like a wet tea bag, it just disappears. Which means that the pelvis will always be twisting, always. But he moves, well, for him, not too bad on this rein. So I turned around rather quickly because the other one is way more difficult.
Yeah, that's true.
So with very many horses, the right hind doesn't enjoy pushing off and the left hind doesn't enjoy flexing under load. And now we're doing the worst canter
Flying change.
flying change in the history of the world.
No,
I've done worse. So, but now we're going to watch the left hind, which sort of looks like it keeps the same shape as it hits the ground. And even straightens. Can you see that?
Yeah. But it's not easy to see, so it's very good that you show us this.
Yeah.
Because it's important to understand.
So whenever that left hind touches the ground, it starts to straighten more instantly. Maybe even before it touches down.
Just like a pogo stick, you know.
Yeah. So it is a little bit bent. There is bend in the knee and also in the hock.
Mm-hmm.
But it straightens as it touches down.
And the other one softens.
And the other softens.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we want to do is to make them more similar. And the way to do that, and I'm not going to say that I'm doing a very good job of that in this video. I'm not sure. I haven't studied it yet. But what you need to do is, on the left rein, you have to allow the left hind to come through your hip. And as you can see, he wants to sort of kick my inside leg forwards. You can see my knee straightens and my foot goes forward. And that is because he doesn't want to do that correct movement. So if I can manage to bend my knee without asking for more energy, that's what I want to do. But I also want to stay completely soft around my left hip.
Mm-hmm.
Because as soon as you stiffen there, you will stiffen against his stiffness, and he will push off harder.
Mm-hmm. Because the horse goes into pressure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and you can use that as probably most of you have tried if you ride if you posting to the trot, and you switch diagonals, the horse will change the way he moves when you switch the diagonal, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's because when you sit down, it'll push off more with the hind leg you're sitting down on.
So you're sitting on the inside hind leg.
Because you want that. You want the control of that one. Mm-hmm. But be careful because you ask for pushing off. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. Just that's what happens, right?
That's why we're sitting.
So now you can see he's bending that knee more and more, but he doesn't bring that leg forward. So I can make it bend more, but it doesn't come to the correct position. Mm. And that is because of tension somewhere in his lower back, perhaps. Mm. That was really good, a couple of strides there from him. And he's also trying sometimes now to push off with the right hind.
And even if you impulsion in the
off
piaf.
Yes. Yeah. And with the off hind leg, the one furthest away from the camera, that one I work on that as hard as I work on the left one. Because I want the left one to just ease through as much as possible because it does too much compared to the other one. Mm-hmm. But I want the right hind to push off more. So I ask for the right hind, the outside hind, quite a lot. You can also see I carry the stick in the right hand. Mm-hmm. Because I want him to work harder with the leg that's lazy. Mm-hmm. And I want him to be more relaxed in the leg that's stiff and active. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm trying to do.
Now we get some canter again, don't we?
I should think we do. He did good now.
Yeah,
this was really well,
and it's good for him because he has some stiff shoulders and is withers the neck, so it's difficult for him to show a bigger stride than he did there, and then we have to take that into consideration. We can't push him more than he's able to.
No. Now I tried to put my legs to the correct position, and he goes straight for something looking like a piaf, but he doesn't move smoothly in that left leg. You can see that it sort of jerks a bit, see?
Did you ask him for canter there? Or?
I'm not sure, I didn't notice. I think I probably did.
And you say now he's trying to do the canter with just throwing his head up in the air and
yeah,
tensing up in his.
I just allow him. It's fine. He can do whatever he likes. I'm going to sit on these hind legs.
Yeah.
And he can freak out wherever else he likes, or needs, or whatever you want to call it, and that is all fine. But it is to be able to sit there and disturb him as little as you can.
Yeah.
So we're not. I'm not saying that this is anywhere near perfection of any kind, right? But when the horse tries out energy for the first time, this is what you need to do. He had one good stride, then he freaked out and ran away. And I give him the rein, and he tries again, and then he runs away. Also, of course, the ground here is treacherous, so. Trying, and the left hind now doesn't push as hard. You see that?
Mm.
But now the right hind has started to straighten as it touches down. Can you see it?
Yeah, and then it's easier for him to move in a more balanced way.
Then he can manage.
And then I know, because whenever I sit on him and try to ride after you've done this, he's such a smooth ride, and he's happy as well. And the rhythm is better and everything is better.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something.
You learned something now?
Yeah, I think so.
Because you don't see this when you're sitting on top of the horse.
No, I can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always interesting to study what it looks like.
Yeah.
Though it's a little bit like hearing yourself talking or singing.
Yeah. And also when you're really struggling with the things, it's not fun to watch yourself when you struggle with something on a horse.
No, but I have learned from long experience. I have learned that it isn't the performance that is the achievement. It is the training that leads up to the performance.
Mm-hmm.
I have to pull out that awesome quote I did the other day again. When you train yourself or the horse like this, you train your body as you train a weapon. Sounds funny for many people, of course, but what it means to train a weapon is to aim it towards what you're trying to hit. So I aim the body of the horse towards something that's called balance.
Mm-hmm.
And straightness is a part of it. Mm-hmm. And as you can see, I aimed for that all the way through that. Mm-hmm. I wanted him to bend the left and push off with the right. Mm-hmm. And in the end, after 7 minutes or whatever, he managed. Mm-hmm. And then I have trained his body to do that. Mm-hmm. But that one thing, that he's done it once, doesn't train him to become like that. Because now we have opened for the possibility. He has now tried to do the thing and manage. It's like first time you manage to do a turn on your snowboard or something like that. Yeah. Okay, I can, but you're not really good yet, are you?
You're falling all the time.
Yeah, and you're weak.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
You have to take breaks
it's fun anyway.
all the time, and it's still fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what you need to understand as well is that the training is also there to strengthen the horse, to strengthen ligaments, to all of those.
Yeah, because people often say to you that it's unfair that you have so strong horses all the time. But that doesn't happen by like a coincidence.
No, I buy strong horses.
Yeah.
Or get them thrown after.
And you're strong as well. That is also unfair. You're much stronger than I
Now
am.
that's not fair, is it? And I'm like, how many hours did I spend doing that? It would be unfair if I wasn't.
And also all the hours you had to train to get to the coordination that you can sit there. Because I need to say this once again, to try to collect the horse with energy or with impulsion, it's really, really difficult. So that's not something that you do unless you've been riding for many, many years.
It's also an interesting thing that sometimes if the horse is really well balanced, then you can ride him with impulsions and be straight and all that. If the horse is really good and balances himself and you don't mess it up.
That's also takes a long time to get there.
True enough.
Yeah.
And or a lot of money.
Yeah.
But an interesting aspect here is that when we were showing impulsion and the horse was stretching its stride, you were riding.
Yeah.
Because you're better at balancing when the water is smooth. So it doesn't have to be with no waves. It can be wavy, but it has to be regular waves.
Yep.
We have tested this, and Han is actually better than I am at balancing under those smooth circumstances.
Much better, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I was surprised.
But if the water is really not ruly at all, if it's unpredictable, the tables turn. And then, of course, the strength becomes the most important factor. And that switches at there is some mathematical formula there that you can probably...
So, but now it's shown one difficulty, and we're going to try to show perhaps a horse that is more come a little farther in his training next time.
We shall see what we can manage. I think that we will be able to show some real collection in hand.
Yes, I was thinking.
I think we're able to do that. So we'll see.
Then you can see
if the mighty old artist can show us some proper collection in hand, at least. That is the plan for next time.
Yeah. So I think we've got some questions.
With a bit of with a bit of luck, it might be live.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't know that yet. Maybe we can manage to pull off a live session again. That would be great. Cool. Questions?
Yeah, I have one anonymously one. And it's just this easy. What exactly do you do to sit on the hind legs?
Yeah. What I do to sit on the hind legs is, I'd say, two different things. One thing you have to do to sit on the hind legs is that you have to be able to keep your pelvis and your spine aligned. Like when the horse moves, none of this can happen. It has to happen like this. The spine and the pelvis has to move, be not locked in. That's a bit hard, but it needs to be extremely stable.
And then the hip joints need to move.
The hip joints need to be loose as well. If they are not, you can't sit on the hind legs and move forward through the back. Those two things can't be done at the same time. The second thing is, I time my movement with the movement of the hind legs of the horse. And I have to refer to what Hanne said. It takes a bit of practice.
Huh. I told you.
It's not, I can't do it without
you need to try
that. Yeah, please.
Sylvia is asking, you said that you can feel it in the body, how the hind legs push off or how they are bent. How is it supposed to feel? How do you feel that?
All right. So I choose to answer this with regards to straightness. So what I want, What I normally feel is that one hind leg will feel when it touches the floor, it feels like that side gives a little bit, and it will feel like the other side pushes a little bit up and maybe out if you're on a circle or on a sideways movement. So what happens with the let's say the leg that doesn't push off, when it touches down, it should, by way of the top line from the hoof all the way back through the butt of the horse and up to the back, it should lift you up that way. So it should lift the saddle up and forward that way. But that side doesn't do that, so it'll fall. So instead of lifting this way, it'll sort of fall a little bit as the hind leg hits the ground. It drops on that side, and that little drop makes it feel like it makes it feel spongy, like a wet sponge, that's kind of dead, not springy. While the other one that you want to be a little wetter and softer will feel a bit like a too stiff spring that kind of kicks you in the cobblers every time it hits the floor. You can feel it kick you to the side or sometimes kick you forward. If it's a good horse, it'll kick you forward. And if the horse is really great, then both hind legs will kick you forward and lift your butt forward, so it's easy to sit with your legs in the right position. If you can feel that your midsection doesn't stay stabilized, or that your hips stiffen, the horse isn't pushing off and carrying correctly. So sort of the best answer I can give, I think, on the fly for that. I think you know what I'm talking about. You good? More questions?
When we were looking at the pictures of Dalton in the beginning, you said something like right in the middle about his shoulders being too stiff to give him the full stride that he has. And I think we could see that in the pictures too, because his shoulders look like super buff. Is that me seeing it correctly, or is that just
we
summer
got
bod?
Full size ones? Which one do you mean is
Like
where
in this first picture, the before picture?
Yeah.
His shoulders there looks
You see
like
the
they're
before one,
pumped.
Eva?
Both
Thank
tight and like really,
Yeah, so
especially his like lower towards his elbow.
And you can see that his neck is sort of pulled down
Into the shoulders.
Between the shoulder blades.
Yeah.
And like this, so his underneck bulges out. And that means that he is really stiff here, and he's not able to move freely with his shoulders. And it was also painful when therapists said that he's very stiff in his muscles around the shoulders, and then he's not able to lift his withers. So we needed to solve that problem first before we could hope to get any energy through those shoulders.
Yep.
But when you see this neck that was becoming much longer and more free, and then it's easier.
And also like the muscles on the front of his forearms were also like from pulling his front legs up in the wrong sequence.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so there are several good points here. One is that he uses those muscles in order to make movement, and that means they become big and stiff, right? There is another important point as well, which is that muscles look bigger if they get to be short.
Yeah.
Like not big, but looks bigger when it gets to be short, right? So the horse does the same thing when if he sinks into his withers and maybe even bends his elbow more, then all the muscles around the shoulder and upper and forearm will look really big. So both of those things might be part of your question, especially if we drag it into other horses as well, because quite often you will, when the horse really gets that long neck. Can we see the long neck again, please? when the horse stretches its neck like this while you're riding, and you're trying to ride the horse in a good outline, the horse will look and feel much more powerful.
Yeah.
But his muscles individually might not look bigger.
Mm-hmm.
So it will look more elegant at the same time. Good question, Nat. Good questions today.
Yeah.
Fun. Any more? Good. Right. So our plan is to be back in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We hope to be outdoors, depending on the weather. And also, I don't hope to be outdoors because mosquitoes.
Yeah.
But it might be cold enough that we'll survive nonetheless.
And we're hoping to see to show more of this and show a horse that has trained for a longer time and can show how it's supposed to be.
Hopefully. Hopefully we can show it. Sometimes it's difficult, as you know. It's horses. It's not a machine. It's hard to get what you want when you want it.
But then we can show how it is when it's not perfect.
As we tend to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's important.
Mm-hmm.
You can, of course, like us and follow us on Facebook and all that stuff. Instagram, even, I think we're at.
Not very active.
Not very active, but you might find something. Also, ask if you want to know answers to your questions, as you have done today.
Mm-hmm.
Really good. Hopefully this was something you could learn something from. I have enjoyed this, actually. Didn't think I would, of course. Everybody
you hated
here,
it, didn't you?
Everybody here says that the last 10 minutes before a stream should be like on Pelle minute by minute. But I thought that slow TV isn't for me. So, but anyway, thank you guys for following. We hope to have you back in a couple of weeks. Thanks for today.